Hello everyone, it's Dawn with TwiceShearedSheep.com, and today I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about my website. Not as in a promotion of come buy my stuff at my website, but no, actually the building of a website. So as a fiber artist and as a yarn seller, I will go to fiber shows, to fiber festivals, to craft shows, and I always have a lot of very successful yarn sellers or not so successful yarn sellers ask me, okay, so can you actually make money online selling yarn? And I have to say, yes, yes. I actually haven't done an in-person show in 2 years. Actually, no, maybe 3 years. So 4 years ago, my grandmother, who lives next door, she had a stroke and I became her caregiver. So leaving town for the weekend or traveling became very difficult. Not only did I have 5 small children who are not so small anymore, most of them are teenagers now, but I couldn't travel as much. I needed to be home to care for my grandmother and to take care of my children. And so I decided that my business really needed to shift gears and that I couldn't spend so much time traveling to shows. And as much as I love meeting people in person, and some of my very favorite people I have met at fiber festivals, I just couldn't do that for my business or for our life anymore. And so I really kind of doubled down on this whole online business thing. And so it's a very pertinent question of, specifically as a fiber seller, can you actually make money online? Yarn is a very tactile sort of thing. Fiber is a very tactile sort of thing. People love to go to an event, to a fiber festival, for the specific purpose of touching all the yarn. They love to go to a yarn store because we want to know that the yarn that we're purchasing is not only the color that we want, that, the screen hasn't changed, but that it feels good, that it's going to feel good against our skin, and that we're going to love it. And selling that to somebody else over the internet can be difficult sometimes. Plus, as creatives, as fiber people, let's admit it, we love an ancient craft. Knitting and spinning and weaving and all of that is an ancient craft. It's something that connects us to history, to cultures all around the world. But it's very low tech. And so while some of us can be considerably tech savvy, I mean, we use our smartphones and you're watching me on YouTube, that we tend to like to do things with our hands. And the idea of running a business completely on a computer maybe feels a little bit foreign and a little bit scary. I will admit that I have learned a lot in the last several years as I've shifted my business onto the internet, to more on the internet. And I've tried a lot of different things. So I told you kind of in my first video where I introduced, how my business got started, that I actually started out selling on eBay. And I think a lot of sellers start out on eBay. Now that Etsy exists, I think most fiber sellers maybe start out on Etsy. So I went from eBay to Etsy, and then I decided that I really wanted to have my own website. I wanted to be able to, at fiber festivals, to send people to my website, a .com, because it didn't look so, it was hard to send people to Etsy. You're like, oh, well, this is my shop. It's twiceshearedsheep.etsy.com or etsy.com/twiceshearedsheep. It became such a big, long thing, and it didn't feel elegant to me. It didn't feel professional. And so I wanted to be able to have a .com. So I figured out how, and I went to GoDaddy.com and I purchased my URL. My website name, TwiceShearedSheep.com. And for a long time, I just had that URL, and within GoDaddy, I pointed it, or I told it to go to Etsy. So anytime anybody typed in TwiceShearedSheep.com, it would take them directly to Etsy. And that worked okay for quite a while. But then I had some things that I wanted to sell that were not as great on Etsy, or I didn't that maybe I wasn't selling in high volume and paying 20 cents for every listing, or for renewing them or to make sure that they were in my shop really became tedious, or there were certain things that I couldn't figure out how to sell properly in that format. And so I really wanted my own website. And so I went to, my brother-in-law is a big tech guru. Actually, most of the men in my family are techie sort of people. My brother works in technical support, and my brother-in-law works in development. And so I went to him and I said, I would really like to build a website. How do I go about doing this? I know how to use Etsy. I know how to, I'm fairly computer savvy in that sense. How do I do this? And so he first introduced, he sent me to, he's like, well, I'm not really a website developer. I didn't know that there are lots of different types of techie people, and not everybody who develops software understands building a website, and not everybody who understands troubleshooting in a big company understands building a website. And he's like, well, there's some of these other guys, and they really like this thing called .NET Nuke. You can just drag and drop and move things around. It's really easy, he said, except he's a techie guy. And to him, really easy was like way up here in the stratosphere for me. And so I struggled and I battled with this for probably about a month, and got a website up that it was tolerable, but I still couldn't really make it function the way that I wanted. And for a long time, I decided, you know what? I'm not tech savvy enough to build a website. I can't do this. And so I left that up for a little while, but I still mostly did things on Etsy because my website was ugly and I didn't want to send people there. Then I saw an ad, probably a year later, I saw an ad on YouTube or somewhere else for Wix. And I'm like, oh, well, that looks easy. I could probably do that. I've already built this thing in .NET Nuke, and Wix was about 1,000,000 times easier. So I built a website in Wix, but their cart sucked. It didn't let me do things like, I had yarn in a base yarn in 15 different colors, and I needed to be able to display that properly. And I didn't have that functionality in the cart. And I didn't have the ability to do, or digital products became difficult, and I sell patterns. And so I built a much prettier website, and essentially it became a landing page that I said, okay, this is us, yay, here you're at Twice Sheared Sheep. And I had a page that's saying what events we were going to be at if you wanted to see us at a in-person live show. And I had a page where you could contact me if you needed to. And then I had a tab at the top that said shop. And when they clicked on it, it went straight to Etsy. And so essentially I was using Etsy as my shop, and it still was not a website. Like if you're going to go to Knitpicks, or you're going to go to Madeline Tosh, or you're going to go to Socks That Rock, you can buy yarn on their website. And I wanted to do that. I was a business. I wanted to have a professional looking website. And so that spring I had joined Renae Christine's Handmade Titan University, which is amazing, by the way. It's closed right now, but it's amazing. And I was learning all of these things about creating product lines and how to market and how to do all these things. And then I got the itchy under my skin again saying, I need a website. I need something pretty. This can't be impossible. I mean, it shouldn't be impossible. And then she released her website building class called Architect. And oh my gosh, people. So I had technically built 2 websites at this point, but neither of them were pretty, and neither of them did anything that I wanted them to do, really. That as soon as I entered Architect, first of all, it has the best customer service I have ever seen in anything technological ever. Ever. I mean, seriously, that her staff, who is there specifically to help you and is phenomenal. There is never a point where you do something and you're like, I broke it, I don't know what to do. You always have someone you can talk to and who will fix it for you. I mean, amazing. But Renae walked me through building a WordPress website, which gives me the flexibility to do pretty much anything that I want it to do. I have a shopping cart, which is gorgeous. I offer free patterns on my website. I now offer paid classes on my website. So I've got a membership plugin put in there. I have all sorts of gorgeous things on my website, and I know how to do every element of it. I built my website in 2016. It's now 2019. I have produced, I think, six yarn collections, stitch mark collections in that time frame, and I've uploaded all of them. I change out my sliders. I change out all of my graphics myself. I do it all myself because I actually understand how to do it. Because Renae, in her Architect class, taught me click by click by click what to do, why to do it, how to make changes, how to customize it, how to make it exactly what I wanted it to be, to make it all those things that Etsy could never be for me, to make it all those things that I wanted it to be in these two other iterations of websites that I attempted to build. I cannot recommend Architect enough. Now, why am I talking about my website? Well, the reason why I'm talking about my website is because I know that you as a fiber bestie, as my fiber friend out there, who maybe you've done in-person shows, maybe you haven't. Maybe you don't have the lifestyle or the flexibility or the ability of good shows near you to be able to make that a viable option for your business. Maybe you would like to get off of Etsy because you're tired of the politics and tired of the changes that they're making to search, and you want to have your own audience. Your website, you always own. You can always send somebody to that. You can change everything about it. You can make it exactly what you want. So I'm telling you all of this because she's having a webinar in a couple of days on May 23rd, and it's a live webinar, which is unusual. And it's a brand new webinar. Full disclosure, she, probably at the end, she's going to encourage you to purchase the Architect course, which I highly, highly, highly recommend. Also, full disclosure, I love Renae so much. I love her training so much. I know that they changed my life. And so I'm an affiliate. If you click on my link and you purchase something from her, I will get a small commission. So just full disclosure. But believe me, it's worth it, because I would not promote something to you that I don't think would help you, would change your life. If you want to watch Renae's webinar, it's click the link in the description down below, and I promise you it will be amazing and you will learn so much. Make sure you bring a pencil and some paper and be prepared, because Renae gives so much away for free. All right, with that, I guess that's all I have for today. So I guess I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.